This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with SB Sports. We're here at St John Bosco's gym. First time I've been in here and I'm out of sight, but delighted to be joined with the latest Frank Warren signed Irish fighter, Kristina O'Hara McCafferty. You're still on a buzz?
I'm still on a buzz. I'm completely on high. I think in a way it still hasn't really hit me yet. My phone just absolutely blew up yesterday, like after it was announced, and I had to actually set it down for a while because it was just getting a wee bit overwhelming. So all the comments, all the texts, phone calls, and I just needed to take a wee minute to myself to come to terms with it. But I'm still on a high, and it still seems surreal. I've worked my whole life for an opportunity, and it's finally coming to me.
And it's not like you've just turned over as well. Like, obviously, you have 3 professional fights. Obviously, I know you're going to get more people that's tuning into you now to see who you are because you're now signed with a Hall of Fame promoter. But you've 3 fights. I think you're 2 years as a pro as well. So, even in that giddy moment, it sort of feels like you're making your debut again. But this is the moments you're obviously, you want to be a multiple world champion. But to have the backing now of a Hall of Fame promoter like Frank Warren, you probably are nearly start having to pinch yourself and go, "What's going on here? Who's playing the prank?"
I know. I actually was going to Jared all day yesterday. Like, is this really happening? Like, so it does feel like you've just turned over again and you're getting all this attention. But again, that's where you have to be grateful to Susanna, and Unified Promotions for giving me them 3 fights and being able to go to somebody like Frank and say to him, like, this is my amateur background and I'm currently 3-0 and this is what I want to do. And there was no hesitation from him. I carried myself well and I told him I want to be a multi-weight world champion and I have no doubt that I'll be at. And I believe that you're the man to take me all the way to the top. And he said, we'll do the best we can to get you. We can help you. And there was no persuading. He was just on board. And as I've always said, like, my daddy's always been a huge boxing fan, and he always said, get on to Frank, get Frank. And I never thought it would happen. I thought it was just unrealistic for me. I've never been much for luck in this sport. But I seem to be getting a wee touch of it now, and long may it last.
I guess in some ways, when you think, when you grow up and you watch so many nights, obviously one of probably our most famous in Carl Frampton, and obviously does punditry now for TNT Sport as well. So from you watching Frampton on BT Sport, where it's now TNT Sport, he's obviously been commenting on your fights, ringside at fights and stuff as well. So it's probably still a surreal moment. You're sort of thinking one of our very best ever is going to be obviously punditry, and obviously your fight, and we've seen what he's been like with Anto Kokachi. Probably in some ways he's helped Anto's career in ways because the more he talks of him in different shows, he's getting them fights. So he's probably a good man to have in the corner, the punditry wise in your fight as well, because Carl will know obviously about your accomplishments as an amateur as well.
Yeah, well, I know after my last fight, he does a wee column, is it in the Irish News?
Sunday Life.
In the Sunday Life, right. And he done a wee column on that for me, and he spoke quite highly. And yeah, he knows boxing, and he knows what to look for, he knows what stands out. So I'm hoping, just to get everybody on board now and just go as far as we can go. Yeah, and even touching on Anto Kokachi, sometimes when I'm talking to him, I still get a wee bit starstruck.
With Anto?
Yeah. I don't think I've ever actually had a conversation with Carl. I think we've maybe been in the same one of the boxing shows or something like that, but I've never had a conversation with him. But as I say, he's a boxing man and he knows the game in and out. So I'm looking forward to having that, ringside with me and being able to listen to the commentary afterwards. I mean, that's always a good buzz to be able to listen back and watch your fights over and hear some of the things that the commentators are saying. It's always a massive encouragement as well, so I'm looking forward to it.
When we've obviously done our interviews, we've always spoken, obviously, Katie. Obviously, Katie's the leading light with obviously Matchroom and DAZN. You're now, obviously, I know there's another female boxer already with TNT Sport, but obviously you're now a leading light for TNT as well. So, where you want to be that inspiration for the younger generation coming through, this is another step towards that. People, now you can look at the 2 biggest boxing promoters in the UK and Ireland, and obviously you're in one and Katie's in another.
Yeah, well, see, even hearing that, it still sounds surreal to even, again, have our names in the same conversation. Do you know what I mean? Like, the way I'm looking at it right now is Katie Taylor won't be around forever. And right now, there's no other Irish girl coming through. So, there's only myself, and I'll do everything to follow in the footsteps of Katie Taylor. And again, like I say, being a multi-weight world champion, that's in the books for me. And it's from watching the likes of Katie Taylor, and especially, coming from the same stomping ground and being on teams together, and it's a whole lot more inspiration to know that now it's looking like it will really happen.
I guess obviously now you have that urge. It's you want to fight now. It's like all this news is coming. You're obviously signed to Frank Warren. I want to fight. You've obviously been here training before I've come in, and you just get that sort of. Is it maybe added something to it now? Obviously, you just get that buzz, and you're like, obviously, I know you haven't fought since October, but you just get that buzz now. It's like, is it now you're going to be texting Frank on a daily basis saying, "Give me fight news, give me fight news, give me fight news"?
Yeah, well, I just want to go out as soon as possible. We've been taking over, we've been training hard, and it's gave me that fire back in my belly again. I know for a while because it was inactive, I wasn't fighting, but I was still in the gym. I was still working, and I was being patient, just hoping that something would come through for me. So we never stopped training. I think more now is we just gotta be able to put all that aside, getting all that attention, put it aside, and just try and keep my tunnel vision and keep my head focused on my training, and just keep my head down really, and be ready for whatever is to come for me.
And obviously the biggest inspiration you do this all for Kiefer. Obviously, how's he feeling about? Obviously now he's going to see his mummy obviously on TNT Sport. When you go away for a few days and sort of to get away from obviously Kiefer and everything else for your fights.
Yep.
For him to obviously seeing you on one of the bigger platforms, this is obviously your next step, and obviously providing for him for his future and coming up.
Yeah, well, he kept going to me yesterday. Your phone's buzzing again, your phone's buzzing, Mummy, your phone's buzzing, because he takes my phone off me, and he'd be watching YouTube Kids and things like that there, and then he would go, I have to shout over to him, did anyone text me? And he goes, no. And then, but yesterday all day it was, Mummy, your phone's buzzing, and he just kept saying to me, I'm so proud of you, Mummy. And he doesn't even understand like what is actually going on. He just knows that something big's happened, and there's a big change coming for him. And yeah, everything I do, and I said to him yesterday, I sat him down, me and his daddy, and we sat down and I said to him, that everything that I do, every time I step into the gym, every time I step into the ring, I said, it's all for you. And he went, are you getting money for me to get toys? And I said, yes, son, that's it. He's only 3, he still only sees Mummy's going to work, and that's exactly what it is. And I hope when he gets a wee bit older and he realises that Mummy's going to work and getting punched in the face, that he appreciates it. I know it's hard still having to leave him, and it's an even bigger commitment now than I was given. And I have to just keep my head down, as I say, and just be grateful for the moments that we have together. And obviously Jared as well. Like, I don't think any of us would have happened without Jared. He was always the one that was telling me to be patient, and when I felt like throwing my head up and I was getting pissed off waiting on news coming, and obviously Unified Promotions just fell through, and that happens. But as I say, they'll always be a part of my story, and we just have to keep pushing on, and I'll do everything I can to make my son and my family and my mummy and daddy. I've been promising them for years. One day I'll get this wee bungalow on the hills. I'll get you a cook, because my mummy just doesn't want to cook anymore. She does it, but she doesn't want to do it anymore. And my daddy texted me the other day, and he was like, that wee bungalow is getting more realistic, Tina. And I was like, yeah, it is, and it's very overwhelming. Like, and everything I do for my family, and my son and my husband, and my parents and my siblings. Everything's for my family. I've
always seen that passion obviously in you. I guess the other thing that I keep speaking to you about as well is obviously fighting at home. Like, I'm not sure if you've obviously ever thought of fighting in the SSE arena, the amazing nights it's been here.
Yeah.
That's even more realistic now as well, to obviously see your name up in billboards outside the SSE arena. Who's to know that obviously that could be the place where you win your first world title. You know, in years to come, obviously there's statues and stuff like that. You know, the world's your oyster now. You're obviously in more control of it now. Not that you didn't have previously with Unified Promotions, but when you have a power horse like Frank Warren behind you, you know he's going to do everything he can to get you the fights because it helps him as well.
Yeah, I think the thought of fighting at home still doesn't really appeal to me quite yet because Kiefer is still so young, and for me, getting away out of being a mother to do that transition into being a fighter, you know, to get your head right, and I think at the minute that's what works for me, and I think being at home would be just a bit more of a distraction than it would be to fight away, but I do see when down the lane and I have a couple of fights and I'm ready to challenge for titles, you know, that driving up the Andy Town Road or driving somewhere and there's my picture on a billboard, it's all of that still seems so surreal to me, you know, and like I say, my job is to get in the ring and fight, and that's up to the team and up to Jared and, you know, to get them sort of fights for me, but right now, where my head is at right now is I still feel like fighting away and just getting that downtime. I know it sounds bad, like to say away from the child, but you need that to be able to switch off, you know, switch off and then switch on. So it's something that I'll look forward to down the line, but for now, yeah, I'm happy with just fighting across the water.
You're obviously going to get more people tuning in now, obviously because of you being with Frank and everything else. Obviously tell people that might be watching this, obviously what they can sort of expect. Your nickname's Special K, and obviously I guess that tells it all. You know, that obviously there's a special talent there, but obviously for anybody who's sort of watching this that doesn't know where you sort of come from and what you've done in boxing, obviously tell them obviously the achievements you've obviously had as a boxer so far.
Well, from right back to schoolgirl, I suppose, like novice schoolgirl, right up until now, there's been...
I think you 14 time Irish champion.
I think so, 14. Where there was Antrim titles, Ulster titles, Irish titles, and then once obviously I got a bit older, there was senior titles, elite titles, and then there was internationals, European gold, European silver, and then I won the Celtic Cup as well and the Ulster elites. And then obviously the biggest one would have been the Commonwealth Games in 2018, and then in I think it might have been 2021 I turned pro.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had 3 fights now. I'm 3-0, and the goal is only to be a multi-weight world champion. That's it. So everything from now until then will be arms raised and head up, keep going forward until I get where I want to be.
Well, listen, obviously it's great to catch up. This is finally the first one we've done in person as well. We kept saying next one's in person, next one's in person.
I know, but sure, you know what I'm like.
We've kept it for a special moment as well. Obviously, you know, what you've got, you've obviously worked hard to achieve, and you know, every success you obviously have to come, it's through your hard work and your determination. Can't wait to obviously see you back in the ring. Yeah. Hopefully it's not too long before Frank's giving you some fight news. But thanks very much as always for your time. And I'm sure we'll catch up again very soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming down.
Cheers, Kristina. Take care. Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.